Hey there, friend. Richie G's on the move again. Taking steps to clear the mind, leaving worries far behind, where every path feels like home, and you never walk alone. It's a welcome, open space, lit by kindness, filled with grace. Yeah, everybody get to know Jesus' name. Everybody gets to know Jesus' name.
Think about the last time a leader you really respected, or maybe just a close friend, failed publicly.
Oh, yeah. That is always so tough.
Right. Like they made a massive, undeniable mistake, and your brain probably went to one of two extremes.
Yep. It's almost automatic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So option A is the path of least resistance, where you just pretend it didn't happen.
You sweep it under the rug.
You sweep it under the rug, you force a smile, and you totally ignore the elephant in the room because, honestly, the fear of conflict is just way too high.
Totally. Or you go with option B.
Right. Option B, which is the nuclear route, you burn them to the ground, you cancel them, cut them off, and permanently exile them from your community.
Which is brutal, but we do it because it feels safe.
Yes. Because
Okay.
if we just amputate the person, we don't have to deal with the messy reality of their brokenness or, what it says about our own group.
Well, both of those reactions are ultimately forms of self-preservation.
Yeah.
One lets a wound quietly fester and infect the whole culture, while the other just chops off the limb at the first sign of a sprain.
That's such a good way to put it.
And we live in a society that is terrified of nuance, so we really struggle to find any functional middle ground where truth-telling and genuine grace can actually coexist in the same room.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore an ancient blueprint that absolutely refuses to settle for either of those extremes.
It's so refreshing.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're pulling from a fascinating analysis called The Ministry of Gentle Mending, Restoring the Fallen Believer.
Right.
And we're going to focus heavily on a single, incredibly dense piece of text from the New Testament, specifically Galatians chapter 6, verse 1.
A really famous verse, but often misunderstood.
Completely misunderstood. And for you listening, whether you manage a corporate team, lead a community organization, or you're just trying to navigate a really complex friendship, this source material offers a psychological framework for handling failure that is deeply countercultural.
It really is. The beauty of this text isn't just in the moral command itself. It's grounded in a rich linguistic context that forces us to completely change our assumptions about human behavior.
Yeah.
It demands that we slow down and actually diagnose the anatomy of a mistake before we react.
Right. Before we just jump to conclusions.
Exactly. It strips away our knee-jerk instinct to immediately assign malicious intent.
So the source material doesn't just issue a blanket statement like, hey, when someone does something bad, fix it.
No, not at all.
It starts by defining the specific kind of failure we were talking about.
This is a crucial distinction.
Right. The first part of Galatians 6.1 says, if someone is caught in a sin. And the analysis highlights a massive nuance in the original Greek word for caught.
Yeah, it's not what you think it means.
Exactly. It doesn't mean a detective finally uncovered your elaborate master plan to defraud the company.
Right, it's a complete psychological shift.
Okay, break that down for us.
So the Greek concept actually translates more to being surprised, overtaken, or suddenly entangled.
Overtaken. Wow.
Yeah, it evokes the imagery of stepping blindly into a snare. The text makes a deliberate distinction here. This entire blueprint is designed for a struggling person who has stumbled, not someone walking in hardened, defiant, calculated rebellion.
Okay, to bring that into a modern context, think about a colleague who is absolutely drowning in unmanageable project debt.
Oh, we've all been there.
Right. They are sleep deprived, their personal life is a total mess, and they end up snapping viciously at a coworker in a meeting.
Yeah, totally out of character.
Exactly. That is very different from a corporate saboteur who is actively stealing company secrets to destroy the business.
100%.
Or, like if we look at it physically, It's the difference between a hiker accidentally stepping into a hidden bear trap versus someone who looks at a cliff, reads the warning signs, and intentionally base jumps off it without a parachute.
That's a great analogy.
The hiker in the bear trap is flailing. They're causing a scene. They might even bite your head off if you get too close because the adrenaline and pain are blinding them. But they are trapped.
What's fascinating here is how that single linguistic shift, viewing a failure as an entanglement rather than a rebellion, radically alters your required response.
Oh, completely.
Because if someone defies you and willingly jumps off a cliff, your brain categorizes them as an adversary who needs consequences.
Right, like they made their bed, let them lie in it.
Exactly. But if someone is caught in a bear trap, your immediate human instinct is rescue.
You don't stand over the hiker, pull out a clipboard, and lecture them about trail safety.
No.
You don't tell them you're canceling their hiking club membership. You drop your bag, get in the dirt, and figure out how to pry the iron jaws apart.
Exactly. You intervene to save them.
So, for you, the listener, consider how often we judge people's absolute worst moments as deliberate malice.
Oh, all the time.
We see someone betray a confidence or fall into a terrible destructive habit, and our first thought is, that is who they really are. The mask slipped.
Yeah, we assume the worst.
But what if they aren't malicious? What if they are simply caught? What if they literally just need someone to help them get free?
And that is the pivotal shift in empathy that this blueprint demands. Before you address the failure, you have to accurately diagnose the posture of the person.
Right. Are they the villain or the victim of their own bad choices?
Exactly. Are they a willing architect of the destruction, or have they been overtaken by it? Because if they are entangled, the community's primary responsibility is not punishment.
No.
The responsibility is restoration.
Which opens up the actual mechanism of how this rescue operation works. And man, the imagery the source unpacks here is incredible.
It's so vivid.
It really is. Once you see that the person is trapped,
Yeah.
the verse commands you to restore that person gently.
Gently. That's the key word.
Right. And our source dives deep into the Greek word used for restore, which is, I hope I'm saying this right, katartizu?
Yep, katartiz, you got it.
Okay, good. So this is a highly visual, tactile word from the ancient world. And it was used primarily for two things: mending torn fishing nets and setting a broken bone so it could heal properly.
Both metaphors carry profound implications for how we treat people.
Yeah, definitely.
Think about a fishing net in an ancient agrarian society. That net was a family's entire livelihood.
If you lose the net, you don't eat.
Exactly. If it tore in the rocks, you didn't just toss it in the fire and buy a new one.
No, you couldn't afford to.
Right. You sat on the shoreline, sometimes for hours, meticulously finding the torn threads and retying the knot so the net could fulfill its intended purpose again.
That takes so much patience.
Immense patience. And setting a bone? That is intimate structural repair. You are taking a framework that has been shattered and physically realigning it so it can bear the weight of life in the future.
Here's where it gets really interesting. And honestly, this is where I have a hard time with the text.
Okay, let's hear it.
The verse says to do this gently.
Right.
But if we stick to the metaphor of setting a femur in the ancient world before anesthesia,
Oh, yeah.
that wasn't just uncomfortable, it was agonizing.
Oh, absolutely. Excruciating.
So how do you cause someone that much pain in an intervention and still call it gentle? Doesn't that just give toxic leaders or, manipulative friends a convenient excuse to hurt people, break them down, and claim they're just doing the hard work of healing?
That is such a good point. You're hitting on the core tension of the entire concept, and it's a trap many communities fall into.
Yeah.
We confuse the word gentle with harmless or pleasant.
Right, like being nice.
Exactly. But gentleness in the context of katartizu is about precision and the intention behind the action, not the absence of discomfort.
Okay, that makes sense.
A skilled orthopedic surgeon is going to cause you immense pain when they reset your leg, but they are not causing pain out of anger, vengeance, or a desire to dominate you.
No, they're trying to fix you.
Right. Every single ounce of pressure they apply is calculated strictly for your future mobility.
Wow. So a butcher and a surgeon both use sharp instruments and make deep cuts, but the underlying motivation dictates the outcome. The butcher cuts to consume, but the surgeon cuts to cure.
That is a perfect way to phrase it. And that is why the text includes a crucial prerequisite.
What's that?
It says, this job is specifically for you who live by the Spirit.
Ah,
In modern psychological or relational terms, it's calling for people who are emotionally regulated and spiritually mature.
so not just anybody can do this.
Definitely not. It takes a massive amount of self-control to sit across from someone who has failed, tell them hard truths that will cause them emotional pain, and do it without a shred of ego, superiority, or reactivity.
That's incredibly hard to do.
It is. Your strength and your truth-telling have to be perfectly subordinated to love.
Okay, so the intention is to heal like a surgeon, applying precise pressure to align the bone. But what if the patient starts swinging at the surgeon?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Right. What happens when the person caught in the bear trap refuses to let you touch the iron jaws? If setting the bone requires precision, what do you do when the person aggressively resists the help?
Well, that reality forces us to look at the broader context of the source material. Galatians 6.1 doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Right, there's more to it.
Yes, the analysis we are exploring places this one-on-one gentle mending right alongside the stricter, more formal protocols for community discipline found in other ancient texts, specifically Matthew chapter 18 and 1 Corinthians chapter 5.
Let's break those down because on a surface read, they sound incredibly harsh.
They really do.
So Matthew 18 lays out a very specific, escalating protocol for dealing with someone whose behavior is destructive and who just refuses to stop.
Right, it's a step-by-step process.
Yeah. Step 1 is going to them privately.
Yeah.
Step 2, if they brush you off, is bringing 1 or 2 witnesses.
Yep.
Step 3, if they still refuse, is bringing the issue to the wider community or church. And step 4, if they remain entirely unrepentant, is removing them from the community altogether.
Which is a huge deal.
And 1 Corinthians 5 echoes this, essentially saying that blatant, destructive, unrepentant behavior requires removing the person for the safety of the group.
It feels like a massive contradiction to the modern reader.
It totally does.
On one hand, you have the mandate for gentle mending, and on the other, you have an escalating tribunal that ends in removal.
Like, how do those two things fit together?
Well, the source material provides a brilliant synthesis. It argues that Galatians 6.1, the gentle mending heart, is what must govern the attitude of the entire Matthew 18 process.
Okay, interesting.
Let's look at why those escalation steps exist. They aren't just bureaucratic hurdles, they are psychological interventions.
So what does this all mean for how those steps function in real life?
Take step 1, going privately. That preserves the person's dignity.
It keeps it quiet.
Right. It gives them the chance to realize their entanglement without public shame. But if they deny it, step 2 brings in witnesses.
Why? Just to gang up on them?
No, because entanglement often involves deep self-deception. When someone is spiraling, they can easily dismiss one person's concern as a mere personality conflict.
Oh, like you just don't like me.
Exactly. Bringing in objective witnesses breaks the he said, she said dynamic and grounds the person in undeniable reality. It dismantles their gaslighting.
Okay, if I'm synthesizing this, it's like Galatians 6.1 is the bedside manner, while Matthew 18 is the medical protocol.
I love that. Yes.
If a hospital only has bedside manner-like, if the doctors are endlessly gentle, validating your feelings, but they absolutely refuse to administer the harsh antibiotics or perform the invasive surgery when you need it, you eventually die of the infection.
Yep. The community gets destroyed by the unchecked behavior.
Right. But if a hospital only executes the medical protocol, if they just coldly go down the checklist of confrontation and amputation without the mending heart of Galatians 6.1, the hospital becomes a slaughterhouse.
Wow. Yeah, it becomes toxic.
The leaders become rigid, harsh, and cruel. You absolutely need both the manner and the protocol for the patient to survive.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it reshapes the entire purpose of community boundaries.
How so?
The ultimate goal, even in the most severe step of that protocol, the actual removal of someone from the community, is still redemptive.
It's not just about punishing them.
Never. It was never punitive just to satisfy the group's anger. The hope is that the profound shock of losing their community will be the wake-up call that pierces their delusion, leads to a change in heart, and eventually results in them returning to fellowship.
Oh, wow.
The door is always left unlocked from the inside.
That is a staggering level of grace. You never permanently write someone off. Even the strictest boundaries are designed to draw them back into health.
Exactly.
But let's bring this down to earth, into the messy reality of our own lives. Balancing truth and grace in abstract theory is great, but how do we practically approach that door?
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, what does this actually look like when you are sitting across a coffee shop table, getting ready to confront a friend or a coworker you deeply care about.
Well, the text outlines a very clear sequence for the actual conversation. And step one is entirely counterintuitive. You have to focus inward before you ever look outward.
Okay, self-reflection.
Exactly. Before you say a single word to the person who stumbled, you have to execute rigorous self-examination.
This echoes that famous concept of taking the plank out of your own eye before you try to remove the speck of sawdust from someone else's eye.
Yes, that's exactly it.
But how does that practically change the confrontation?
It changes your neurobiology.
Really?
Yes. When you sit down and actively reflect on your own worst moments, the times you failed, the times you've been petty or deceptive, you literally alter your brain state.
That's wild.
You cannot maintain a state of self-righteous fight or flight superiority if you are actively acknowledging your own flaws. It lowers your cortisol, it softens your vocal tone.
It humbles you.
Exactly. You deal with your own hypocrisy so that you enter the room as a fellow patient, not a judge.
That perfectly sets up the second step, which the source identifies as the tone of the conversation.
The tone is everything.
It really is. The tone has to be humble and relational, not, I am the manager and you messed up.
Right, no power trips.
The source gives this excellent framework for what to say. Something like, I care about you. I've noticed this area that seems to be entangling you. How can I help you move toward freedom?
Notice the deliberate vocabulary there, entangling you.
Yeah.
It goes right back to the bear trap analogy. You are naming the problem as an external enemy that has captured them, rather than attacking their core identity.
You are separating their worth from their worst action.
Precisely.
And the third step involves the actual ongoing actions of mending, like listening deeply, helping them process the damage, and bearing practical burdens.
It's hands-on work.
Yeah, it means not just pointing out the mess, but grabbing a mop and actually helping them clean it up.
Exactly.
But I have to push back here on the reality of human ego.
Oh, let's hear it.
It is incredibly easy to go into these conversations thinking we are being helpful, when secretly our egos love it when other people fail.
Ouch. But true.
It gives us a little hit of dopamine because it makes us feel superior. So how do we practically prevent our own pride from hijacking the process?
This raises an important question, and it's one the ancient text anticipates with a very sober warning.
What's the warning?
The verse ends with a direct caution to the person doing the mending. It says, "But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted."
Oh, wow.
The source material points out that arrogance or carelessness can cause the person doing the restoring to fall into the exact same destructive patterns.
It's like a lifeguard swimming out into a rip current to save a panicking, drowning person.
Perfect analogy.
If you aren't properly trained and acutely aware of your surroundings, their sheer panic can pull you both under the water.
Yep. Or, more insidiously, you become so arrogant about your own ability to swim that you stop paying attention to the tide and you get swept out to sea yourself.
Man, that's a scary thought.
It is. The only way to prevent pride from corrupting the intervention is to internalize what the text calls the law of Christ.
Which means what, practically?
In practical terms, that means applying the exact same unearned grace and patience to others that you would desperately want applied to yourself in your darkest moment.
That's convicting.
You approach them as a fellow, flawed human who simply happens to know where the medicine is kept.
It levels the playing field completely. There is no high horse to sit on when you realize you are just one bad decision away from stepping into the exact same snare.
Exactly. And that brings us to the ultimate summary of what this deep dive has revealed.
Let's bring it all together.
The goal of all this effort, the gentle mending, the precise setting of the bone, the escalation protocols, the rigorous self-examination, is repairing the fellowship so the person can function properly within the community again.
It's all about restoration.
It protects the integrity of the group while relentlessly pursuing the flourishing of the individual.
The source material compares it to the famous metaphor of the shepherd who leaves the 99 safe sheep to go out into the dark after the one who wandered off.
That's a beautiful image.
It really is. That one sheep is trapped in a ravine. It's hurt. It's terrified. The shepherd doesn't hike out there to beat the sheep for wandering away.
No.
He goes out there to pry it out of the rocks, put it on his shoulders, and carry it back to the flock.
Yeah.
And for you listening, I want to challenge you directly.
Yeah, think about this in your own context.
Look at your own life right now. Look at your workplace, your friend group, your family dynamics. When brokenness happens, and it will happen, what is your default setting?
Ask yourself the hard questions.
Are you just ignoring the dysfunction to maintain a fake toxic peace? Are you devouring people, canceling them the moment they become inconvenient?
Yeah.
Or are you willing to do the incredibly hard, humbling, exhausting work of gentle mending?
It is exhausting work.
Yeah.
It requires time, emotional bandwidth, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. But it is the only work that actually builds a resilient community. You cannot build a strong, trusting culture on a foundation of disposal.
Which leaves us with one final thought to mull over, building on that brilliant ancient metaphor of the torn fishing net.
Right, the katartisu.
Yes, the katartis. The patient, meticulous mending of the knots, so the net can hold weight again. If a community, a corporate department, or a family is essentially a collection of nets working together to pull in a catch.
Which they are.
Right.
Right.
What happens to the whole community's ability to achieve its purpose if it just throws away every single net the second it gets a tear?
You're not going to catch much fish.
Exactly. If we choose the temporary satisfaction of disposal over the patient art of mending, we aren't just losing difficult individuals. We are compounding the loss of human potential year after year until there is no one left on the shore to cast the nets at all.
Wow.
Remember that binary choice we started with? The cancel or the ignore?
Yeah.
It turns out both of those options eventually leave you with an empty boat. The only way forward is to sit in the sand, find the torn threads, and start tying the knots.
Humbly we come. If a brother's caught in sin, overtaken by the fall, you who walk by Spirit's wind, answer gently to the call. First remove the plank we bear, search our hearts with reverent care. Only then with humble eyes help restore what sin would tear. Not in pride, not in shame, gently restore. Mend the broken places, set the bone that's out of joint, heal with patient loving grace. In the Spirit's meekness, Lord, let your kindness lead the way. Gently restore, gently restore. Carry burdens, bear the load, fulfill the law of Christ in love. Watch yourself in every word, lest you stumble from above. Like a net torn by the sea, like a soul lost in the night, weave it back with steady hands, bring it back into the light. Not to crush, but to renew, gently restore. Mend the broken places, set the bone that's out of joint, heal with patient loving grace. In the Spirit's meekness, Lord, let your kindness lead the way. Gently restore, gently restore. Search me first, oh Lord, I pray. Cleanse the hidden sin away, so my hands can help repair what another cannot bear. Gently restore. Mend the broken places, welcome home the wandering heart, covered by your endless grace. In the Spirit's meekness, Lord, let your kindness lead the way. Gently restore, gently restore us, Lord. word.